Investigators from the State Fire Marshal's Office and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives continue their investigation at Robbins Lumber in Searsmont. Officials said today that investigators continued examining the facility's fire suppression systems and related infrastructure as part of the ongoing investigation into Friday's explosion. Authorities say investigators have now sifted through hundreds of cubic yards of sawdust and debris by hand and with heavy equipment. The Fire Marshal's Office says crews continue to carefully excavate the material within the silo areas to preserve and document potential evidence. We're told one crane arrived on scene today, and a second crane is expected to arrive tomorrow.